So I've talked about various ways we can increase our return on investment, which is one, taking care of our customers. Who are our customers? Our customers are our tenants, our existing tenants, and also increasing our cash flow. And the third one is KPI. I'm not going to talk about the first two, which is the tenants and also your cash flow. Today, I'll be talking about key performance indicators. How do you monitor your key performance indicator? So there's a saying, what gets measured gets managed. So today, before I talk about the key performance indicator, I'm going to first of all talk about business plan, because you can talk about key performance indicator without talking about the business plan or the mission of your business or your deal. Like you all know, I like to talk mostly about multifamily. So I'm going to streamline my conversation to multifamily. Before you set out in setting your key performance indicator, you need to first of all define what the business plan is. So you want to define, this is the plan of this business. Then after defining it and it's clear that this is exactly what you want to do, then the next thing for you to do is to create the mission. So the questions that the mission will be asking is, who is responsible for this? Why do I need to set this? And what's the timeline for me to achieve this? These are some of the questions that the mission statement will be asking. Then from there, that is when you can say, okay, based on this, I can see the need of this business. And then I can now create my key performance indicator. Really, what does not get measured cannot be managed. So if I can measure it, how do I know I've achieved the goal? So I'm going to create a little example. So I have a value add deal. When I mean value add is many things. It just means you bringing in value to your tenant and all that. But I'm going to streamline the value add. I'm talking to renovation. So in quote, I'm talking about renovation. So when my business plan is to renovate a unit and to bump up rent, the business plan will be different from when I am trying to just stabilize a property. That is, the property is not stable. A property is considered not stable when it's less than 90% occupancy. So when a property is less than that means the need is different from a property that requires a renovation to bump up rent and all that. So based on that, the goal is clear. The goal is I want to increase my return on investments by renovating this property and increasing rent. Why the other one's clear goal is I want to increase my occupancy to get my return on investment. So based on that, you already know the goal of this. So the next question will be, when do I know that I've achieved this? What do I need to do? What are the KPIs I need to set and all that? For a property that requires a value add, if I am looking at renovating the rent, I will be monitoring my current occupancy, because at the same time, I don't want to lose my current tenant, because you might be so focused with renovating the unit and you are losing tenants. You're not concentrating on the work order. What are work orders? These are the requests from your current tenants that they require something done. So maybe because you have your maintenance crew taking care of new units or trying to renovate, you're not putting the priority on your current tenants that are on ground by meeting up with their needs. So I want to be sure that I'm watching my occupancy. I'm also watching my tenant retention. Not just that, I'll also be watching my conversion time on those turnovers. So I am renovating a unit. How long will it take me to do the complete renovation and put it back in the market and get tenants in? So these are things you need to monitor. So for example, you get a contractor to do those things for you and you are not monitoring it, and the contractor is supposed to spend, let's say, 2 weeks to renovate 2 units, and because nobody is monitoring, the contractor is using 3 months. One, you've lost 3 months rent, your vacancy has gone up. This will affect your baseline rent. It's also going to affect your NOI, your net operating income. So this has trickled down to costing you a lot of things that you might not even be aware of. So that is where the KPI comes for a value add. Those things I just mentioned are some of the things that if I am doing a value add, I'm going to be watching my CapEx conversion time, when they are going to finish the job, how soon can I get it back in the market, how soon can I get a tenant in, not just for me to finish the job, how soon can I get them, how is the traffic on my property for me to bring in the tenants as soon as I'm done with it, will I be pre-leasing it, why it's under construction and all that. These are some of the KPIs you should be setting to monitor it. Going to the one that has a occupancy issue, I will be monitoring the traffic. I want to know if the advert I have in place is good enough. For example, let's say the advert I have in place is good enough. I'm getting a lot of traffic, but those traffic are not transiting, or I'm not seeing it come alive to tenants, or the conversion rate is 0. That means I'll have a KPI that will be monitoring my conversion rate, not just the traffic, the conversion rate of the people coming in. So it's at that point I will know exactly what is going on. Do I have issues with the pricing? Do I have issues with the unit? How does the unit look like? Is it bad, or I need to do more work? Or do I have issues with my property management company? Maybe they don't know how to talk to the prospectives coming in and all that, and thereby it's causing a lot of issues in conversion. So if I have the KPIs in place for an occupancy property or a deal that has occupancy issues, I will definitely know on time where the problem is. These are just some of the examples on how you can set the KPIs depending on the business goals. That is why the business goal is very, very important in the entire process of setting out to do your KPIs. So what are some of the challenges you can face in setting your KPIs? Or maybe you set your KPIs and there are some challenges you are facing. KPIs are meant for a purpose, and if it's not achieving that purpose, then it means that something is wrong. So we've seen cases whereby the KPI, there's a disconnect between the team, which is the owners, those are the GP team, and the property manager and the team on ground. So when setting out a KPI, you must ensure that there is an understanding between the three parties involved in the entire process. You can have the GP members and the property management company, which is the back-end office or the corporate office, all in the same level or understanding, but you'll find out that the team on ground does not understand what exactly the mission or the vision, and as well as what the KPIs are supposed to be. So you want to ensure that the entire parties understand what the goal is and what the mission is and why you're setting those KPIs. So how do you monitor KPIs or know when your KPI is doing what it's supposed to do? These are some of the steps I take in monitoring my KPIs to ensure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. First of all, depending on the business plan, I set out the KPIs based on the goal of the deal. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm monitoring them weekly. And how am I going about that? So I am taking my weekly reports, the KPIs I've listed to monitor. Every week I am watching it. I'm checking what my occupancy is. I'm checking what my vacancy is. I'm checking what are the expenses. I'm checking different things depending on my KPIs. I'm checking everything to see what exactly is going on. So if I'm able to do that on a weekly basis, I can know if there's a variance or if something has gone wrong. If my occupancy, let's say the goal of my occupancy was supposed to be 91%, and that week I saw it drop to 90, I'm going to ask what exactly is going on. And based on that, I'll find out and we can make corrections or make suggestions. So in doing that, at the beginning of all my deals, I'm having a weekly meeting with my property management company. We as the asset management or the owners of the deal will have that meeting with our property management to review all the things we've aligned as our KPI. So weekly report helps us to track what exactly is going on or what is off or any variance that the deal must have experienced. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm also going to monitor it monthly. So I will not say that I will just be monitoring weekly without monitoring monthly. There are some of the reports that you cannot get out until after the month. So some of the reports are like the profit and loss. You have to wait to the end of the month to get the reports. Then from there you can draw your conclusions. So the monthly report of your profit and loss is very, very important. So what are you doing or what are you looking at in your profit and loss? So depending on your KPI, again, first of all, your profit and loss must be versus your budget. So I've spoken some time ago about budget. You can click on my YouTube page and watch a video on budget, how you can set your budget. So I have my income statement and I'm putting it here versus my budget. And because I'm monitoring monthly, if my budget is this, let's say I intend to make $1 million monthly in my budget, but I'm seeing myself making 800. So there's a $200,000 variance. If I'm monitoring weekly, I will ask the question, why do I have a decrease? Is it that my occupancy is low or is this high delinquency? It will help me answer some questions. When monitoring your monthly budget, you monitor it with the budget you set in place. With that, you can see the variance and quickly correct it. We've seen cases whereby our utility went up, water bill went up. It was based on the fact that we're able to do what our budget was supposed to be and what our actual was, what exactly we spent. And not just that, we're able to also compared with previous bills we're paying for our water, and we found out that particularly that month spiked up, and that was like something is happening. So that's when we discovered that we had leakages. A lot of the toilets were bad, and from that singular meeting we made a decision that we were going to change all our toilet systems on that property, and we did that. We changed about 240 toilets in that property because we realized that our water bill was going up. If we weren't monitoring it monthly, we wouldn't have known this, and maybe it would have been after 1 year we would have seen the result of it. So imagine your water bill, instead of $20,000 it becomes $40,000 and you're not monitoring it. So you have an increase of 100% of your water bill and you are not monitoring it. That will affect your net operating income every month and every year. So anything that affects your net operating income actually affects the value of the property. So you want to watch it. So your weekly report is very important. Your monthly report is also very important. And there are some reports you get to monitor quarterly, and you also get to monitor annually or twice a year and all that. So some of these things you need to do them on those periodic moments of your deal. So I hope this content was very good for you. So if you're in a business and you have not started setting out your KPIs, it's very, very crucial, very important. It's not too late, although the best time to set your KPI is at the beginning. But if you've not done that in your previous years in your business, you need to start doing it right now, because it can actually save you a lot of money in your deals and make your deal more profitable than normal. I hope you enjoyed this. Please have a wonderful day.